Hello everybody, welcome to the second video of today. This is a very special video. This video will be focused on Indian origin champions which Marvel Contest of Champions might actually be putting in game in the near future. So Namaste and Vanakkam. The whole reason for this video is based on a tweet. This was a tweet by MCOC Kalantak who basically says, look, is there going to be an Indian origin champion in the near future? And to everybody's amazement and excellent news, it is looking like that may be the case, with Gabriel Frazera responding back saying a character of Indian origin, it might be closer than you think. Now that doesn't mean to say that we're definitely going to get it next month, but yes, there could be down the line an Indian origin champion, which this video is going to look at 10 options Kabam could put in. Right, let's now get into the list. First of all, shout out to the other MCC Gabe. Check him out on Twitter because he puts together the wish list and as well does some kind of information, these quick little snippets of certain champions you could see in the future. And obviously if you like the wish list, go and give him some support please. Our first potential champion option is Pavitra Prabhakar. This is essentially a mystic based Spider-Man, hailing from a very far out Earth, still part of the Spider-Verse and very unique, especially because the powers were not through a spider bite but transferred through mystical means through an amulet. Next up from Earth 616 is Karima Shapandar. Now this was an ordinary police officer before she was turned into a Mega Prime Sentinel by Bastion, so a very dark origin. Now Karima possesses some amazing abilities, so it could be a real powerhouse for the game. With nano shifting, flight, she's adaptive to things, nanite regeneration, cyberpathy and technopathy. So there's lots of things, especially with energy manipulation and any other new pathy you can come up that I can't properly pronounce, she's probably got it. Energy shielding as well. So let's face it, this could be an amazing champion to put into game. This champion could literally be like a warlock on steroids. Next up, and we've got Grid. Grid is a fantastic type of Inhuman champion that could be a really decent asset to expand the line of Inhumans currently in game. With Medusa, with Black Bolt, with sort of Karnak, but it'd be nice to kind of add something more to this. Now Grid possesses the ability to visually see the electromagnetic spectrum to an unknown degree, but far greater than what is visible to ordinary human or Inhumans. His power with electromagnetic vision, electromagnetic pulse emissions and channeling conduit will probably give him something that looks and feels similar to something like Magneto or something like Quake. Either way, Dinesh Dio, aka Grid, could be a really decent asset to be put in game and as I said, expand that Inhuman line of synergies and champions. Next up is Neil Shara or Thunderbird. Now similar to previous characters we've discussed, there is some links to the Omega Sentinels and as well Karima Shapandar. But my slight concern is even though this champion would be amazing to put in and I'd love it, there are a lot of similarities with certain other champions like Hyperion and as well Human Torch. And I'm not saying it's exactly the same, there's just similarities in what they do. For example, let me explain his solar energy, mimicry, generation, heat conversion type powers, meaning he has the ability to convert ambient heat into solar plasma. Neil can transform his body into solar plasma, enabling him to release and manipulate thermal discharge, focused beams or shaped plasma fields from his eyes or limbs. So yeah, kind of similar to those two champions mentioned. But now to something that's a bit different, especially from a lot of stuff that we have in game, and that is Indra. Now Indra hails from Panjajana, obviously in India, and it's the powers that interest me the most. I've looked at this several times and I'm thinking there is similarities between Psylocke, Armor and Colossus. If you mold those characters together, then you get those, especially because with Colossus, obviously you go into that exoskeleton very easily. With Psylocke, you're able to create and form things with psionic powers, and especially looking at things like retractable exoskeleton, durability, psionic armor, and weapons creation, it does lead to a very impressive character, and I would actually love to see something like this in Marvel Contest of Champions if he was ever to be put in the game. Next up, we've got Rana Javinda, who is also known by Vesper. Now the character hasn't hugely featured in a lot of comic books, but the ones that she has featured in, she's basically got the powers of technopathy and telepathy. But if I'm being honest, this is probably one of the weaker options to actually put in based on the lack of comic book history, and also powers and ability sets. Next character to bring to your attention, which might be possible to put in game, and that is Shakti Haddad. Shakti hails from Earth 928, so it's kind of out of the canon of the Earth 616. Which, look, it's not to say that it's completely impossible we will or will not see this champion. It's just a case of where things lie with how Kabam want to put things in. As well, being this another 2099 character, but again, maybe not in the same canon as Earth 616, it may be unlikely to actually see this option. But Cerebra is also a decent character to put in based on what she can do. The abilities is where I think it becomes a little bit confusing, but could be a possibility with things like Paralyze and Stunning, and as well looking at things like being a quite skilled martial artist, and also having an implant which has the ability to tap into tech and obviously manipulate, similar to, like, I don't know, Skynet and Terminators. But yeah, let's face it, I don't know if this would be a definite that could be an option. Now moving on to maybe a character that has abilities which Kabam haven't looked to put in, and it is Time Slip. With other champions like Forge, that could be an option in the future. Time travel is something that could be really cool. Time Slip, or Rina Patel, has had a lot of involvement with the New Warriors and as well the Secret Avengers, so there does seem to be some kind of cool tie-ins, with a lot of the New Warriors being kind of expanded, as we've seen in the past. Darkhawk, Night Thrasher, and as well having Nova does mean we're seeing an expansion of that, so it would be cool to see something like this. As well, I know it would be difficult to visualize a character that could time travel, but imagine this. Imagine you're kind of low on health and you kind of being able to put some kind of like special attack, go back in time and replenish the health that you lost based on, say, earlier interaction. That would be a really cool element, and again would open up certain types of champions like Forge. I know we've seen this before, especially in other games like Injustice, so it would be good to see some kind of elements like this. Now, it doesn't have to be all about superheroes, because there's also some supervillains, and this is probably one of my favourite ones that I found so far, called Black Fog. Black Fog has a lot of mystery about the character, especially because there's no name associated. He's a serial killer haunting the streets of Hyderabad in India. The Black Fog was notorious and feared by the residents, though many had believed him to be a myth. Eventually captured and imprisoned, his victims' families were allowed to visit him, with his jailers often looking the other way as they attacked him, leaving him scarred and limbless. Now, this villain is incredibly cool and is something that I'd love to see in game, especially because we have the elements already built with Nightcrawler going into that kind of BAMF, which essentially just puts some fog out there. So that's what he gets to use, and as well he's got regeneration. After having a hole blown through his chest and an arm blown off by MODOK, he has shown the ability to quickly reconstitute his damaged body parts out of the fog he uses to teleport. So man, that is really dark. Also, his abilities, he's also got an exceptional blade wielding ability, which sounds great in any case. Obviously, weakness wise, if he teleports lots, he also gains more of a glow, so obviously he can be found in that particular smoke. This guy's actually been pretty vicious. He's actually taken on Red Hulk and has actually been quite formidable against him. And this is the final one. This is Sapna. Sapna is incredibly powerful, and especially with associations with Magic and as well Doctor Strange, this is pretty cool. Now, the story around Sapna is that when she was a young girl, a young mutant girl, she was attacked by the Indian military in Calcutta due to an anti-mutant hysteria caused by the MCOC before being rescued by Magic, who took the girl and her parents in the Jean Grey School for Higher Learning in X-Haven to receive medical treatment. Now, she was guided on her way by Magic and as well slightly trained by Doctor Strange. It does seem that a lot of her powers manifested from a limbo type effect, obviously similar to what Magic has as her powers. Now, I'd love to see what Kabam could do with this, especially with demon control, spell casting, golem crafting, portal conjuring, and necromancy. This could be a fantastic mutant based character to put in game, or as well something more of a mystic line, similar obviously to what Magic is. This could be really, really cool. Now, from that list, there was 3 characters that really stood out for me that I really would like to see. Omega Sentinel #1, because I just feel that a nice tech, a really strong tech, a god tier tech is really needed. The second one has got to be Sapna, based on that kind of mystical mutant based powers. I love that. And the final one is going to be Indra. I love the exoskeleton psionic creation, similar to Psylocke, similar to Colossus. I love that vibe. Yeah, you could say like a couple of them are mutants, but obviously that's my thing. I love mutants. I think they're really cool, but it is really good, and it's been amazing to learn about these Indian origin champions and characters that we could see in game. But now I put it over to you in the comment section. Who do you feel should be put into game? Have I missed out a character? Do you feel the list is incomplete? Put it down in the comment section. Thank you very much for your appreciation and watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please hit the like button. And by Thor's foamy hammer, check out some new content over here. Check out some supporting links over here. And as always, I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.